This is blending out really, really nicely. It almost feels thin like a serum. If you can see, I'm a little sweaty, but I'm also a little bit more oily. Is this going to be a foundation for myself that I think is going to last me all day, no touch-ups? Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, then welcome. My name is Christina, and on my channel, we talk all things beauty from my own experiences. So before you go, make sure to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and leave any comments that you have for me down below. I just want to say, I am so excited that it is now May because March and April, you guys, March and April kicked my butt. I had the best time, bachelor trips, bachelorette trips, craters and friends. I had all the weddings, everything. On top of it all, being sick like every other week. And now we're here in May. Things are calming down, and I'm so excited to be sitting down and finally filming a ton of content for you guys. So coming back with the new Fenty Beauty foundation. This is the Soft Lit Naturally Luminous Longwear foundation. I got the shade 290. I went to Sephora in stores, swatched a bunch of shades just to make sure that I got the right shade match, and today we are going to be testing this out for the very first time and doing a little wear test so we can see how this wears throughout the rest of the day. Alrighty, so this foundation retails for $40. It comes in 50 different shades. It says that this is a hydrating and glowy foundation that's waterproof and reduces shine for a notch above natural finish. I love that description. I feel like that sounds incredible. I'm not sure how this is going to be a luminous foundation as well as reducing shine in the face. It also says it's long wearing, medium coverage. It gives a golden hour glow in a bottle. And over time, it's supposed to help improve and brighten the look of your skin tone while resisting sweat, humidity, and transferring. Big claims here, big claims, but you know what? I'm not mad at it. Right out of the packaging, it's giving me Pro Matte Foundation, their very first foundation formulation. They did do a matte version, and this looks pretty much the same if I'm remembering correctly. I mean, this one does have more edges and stuff. It's not a perfect circle. Is this a hexagon? What's 6? Hexagon? I don't know. It says to shake well. How to use. For medium coverage, apply 1 pump to the back of your hand, dip a damp precision makeup sponge in the product and begin applying at the center of your face or wherever coverage is desired. And for full coverage, it says to use a brush. I don't think I'm going to be using any primers on my face, but what I am going to be doing is using my color corrector on one side of the face underneath the foundation, and then on the other side we're going to be doing it on top of the foundation, just because I feel like sometimes it doesn't really depict necessarily what the foundation is going to look like if you are the type of person that only uses foundation on top of a bare face before going in with the rest of your makeup. You know what I mean? So I want to show you guys a little bit more of like what this foundation can do, and also I am just curious on my own. So that is the game plan for today. It does seem to be a little bit more of a runny foundation, which I like. If you do hold it vertically, it does run down the hand, which I think is a good sign when it comes to foundations that I personally like. I also pulled out my Fenty concealers. I have 4 of these because I bought some on my own and then they sent me some. So we're going to be using these today. And like I said, we are going to be going in with some color corrector on one side of the face. I guess on the right side. Let's go ahead and go in with my color corrector. And today I am using the Sigma Spectrum Color Correcting Duo in medium to dark. I have been loving this one so much. You do have 2 different colors of color corrector here, and what I like to do is use the lighter shade whenever I'm doing it like underneath my foundation, and I'll mix it as well on different parts of my face because my face does have different coloring on different areas. I just love that you have the versatility of mixing this because this can work for so many different skin tones, and all you need is this one duo, so it's incredible. And I'm also going to be using the Sigma Soft Angled Concealer F72 brush. This is incredible. It's just like the Rare Beauty concealing brush, except this one I feel like has a really good density to where you can still blend everything out really nicely. I like a color corrector that's not just going to disappear into thin air once I start blending it in, you know? Like I like to make sure that there are areas that you can see the color corrector. I'm using the Sigma multitasker brush, the F47. I have been really enjoying these more dense paw brushes. Just any dense paw brush that you own, I think is really great for foundations. So I'm going to take this and go into the foundation on the back of my hand, and we are going to just start on the inside and go out. And I'm going to go in with a combination of sweeping and dabbing. This color, I think, can look a little bit warm, but I still feel like this is going to be the best match for me. Maybe not my forehead, but we can make it work for sure. I do really enjoy this color match. I think it's so good. This is blending out really nicely. It almost feels thin like a serum, but I feel like it's giving me really nice coverage. And I'm taking this clean sponge and I'm barely pushing down on the face. I'm not using much pressure at all. I've been using this technique just to pick up any excess foundation. Any excess that is not necessary that would otherwise add too much makeup and kind of add to the cakey makeup look, you know. Okay, here is one thin layer of that foundation on the face. You can definitely still see a little bit of my hyperpigmentation, even areas where I did put that color corrector. So I do think that it moved the color corrector around a little bit, but that is not anything out of the norm. That is something that happens quite often. That's why I still go in with concealer. But looking at how it's sitting on the face, it just looks like skincare to me. Like, you see how glowy that is, how even my face is looking. It doesn't even look like a layer of foundation, especially because the shade match seems to be really perfect for me right now. It doesn't seem like I lost any of the glow that's on my face right now due to my skincare. I feel like I have the same level of glow, which I like. I don't know if that necessarily means that if you usually go in with skincare and you don't like a glowy look, like if you like more matte looking skincare, I don't know if you would then have this finish, you know what I mean? But for me, it's looking the exact same. I love a glowy start to my foundation. I love a glowy finish as well. I do go in and powder my entire face so I can mattify it, because throughout the day I do tend to get more oily. So in a couple hours, this would probably be like what we're looking at. I'm probably just gonna use the remainder of the foundation on the back of my hand to finish this side of the face. And again, we didn't go in with any color corrector on this side. We're probably gonna do that afterwards. Oh, I think it dried, or I just don't have enough, so I'm gonna pump out a little bit more. All right, here is the full face finished with a layer of the foundation. I am really liking the way that this looks right off the bat on the face with no other complexion products. I know that we're still gonna be testing out what it looks like with concealer and powders and all that stuff, but so far I think it's sitting on the face really nicely. I don't see it emphasizing any of my pores. I think because we did go in with a very light layer, it's looking really good. I will say right here in the crevice of my nose, I am seeing a little bit of buildup right here. So I'm going to keep an eye on that as we apply our concealer and all those things. I really love this color match. I think I did a really good job, guys, which is surprising because if you know me, you know color matching is not my forte. So as far as color corrector versus no color corrector, honestly, it's looking the same to me. It did cover a little bit of like my more stubborn hyperpigmentation spots, like my acne scars and stuff. But again, we can still kind of see it. I'm not seeing like any huge difference. You know what I mean? So let's go ahead and put some color corrector on top on this side of my face. And like I said, we are going to be putting concealer on top of this. So I'm only going in with a very thin layer. This product only allows you to go in with a thin layer anyways. Like, you would really have to build it up to go in with too much product. And I'm just going to go over again with a little color corrector here. Looking good so far. So let's go ahead and put some concealer on top of this. I feel like I'm gonna be using a mixture of 260N and 295W. Let's start with 260N. Just going into all the usual places that I conceal. And then we're taking this BK Beauty Angie Hot and Flashy A506 brush to just blend out that concealer. And then again, we're gonna tap everything out with the Beauty Blender. And I mentioned this trick in my tips that'll change your makeup video that I did a couple weeks ago. I have been blending out all of my liquids and creams and stuff and then letting it sit for a couple minutes before I go in with the next layer. That has made such a big difference in my makeup, and it seems like such common sense, but when you're impatient with doing your makeup like I am, you kind of just want to go from one step to another right away, so you're not sitting here forever. But I'm telling you, if you take the time to like let your layers dry, you get the most flawless, most even application and coverage from your products. It's incredible. Going in with a little bit of 295W to cover up more of like my freckling and stuff. Actually, I feel like this is a better skin match, and 260N might be a better like slightly brightening match. All right, and here is what the complexion is looking like. Like I said earlier, I think everything is sitting really well on this skin. I do still see a little bit of my scarring here and there, so I may add just a touch more concealer, but overall, this face of makeup is looking really nice. I would say that this gave me a very solid medium coverage. I don't think that this is anything that I would consider full coverage. Now, it's nothing that I can leave unpowdered though, because I do have oily skin throughout the day. I do tend to get even more oily, so something like this is going to be too luminous for me to just leave alone. But usually when I have a foundation that looks like this to begin with, once I powder it and throughout the day, it starts looking slightly more luminous, and at the end of the day I kind of end up with this. I'm gonna go ahead and finish the rest of my makeup, and I'll be back to show you guys the full face, and then we'll talk about my final first impressions. Okay guys, just finished my full face of makeup. Here is what the skin and the face is looking like. I will give you guys a little bit of a close-up so you can see what's going on here. I powdered the face, I did all my blush, my bronzers and everything. This is a beautiful foundation so far. I really like the glowy dewiness right here. If you are not one that likes a luminous finish, this is not going to be the foundation for you. This is my face after I powdered it down. I did a very, very light bake on the face, so this is after all of that. I personally really love this type of finish. Even though I am more oily skin type, I don't mind when I start looking a little bit more oily throughout the day. Personally, I like it. I think it looks natural. I think it looks really beautiful on my skin, and I know that's not going to go for everyone. If you were to try this foundation out and you like a matte finish, you're going to have to really go in and do like a thicker bake on the face from what I can tell. And I did go in with some highlight and stuff here on the tops of my cheeks. I used the brand new Fenty highlight. This is in the shade Too Much. I love this packaging. It is gorgeous. This formulation, it's so soft, it's so buttery, and at first it does look like it's going to be really high shine and metallic on the skin, but once you actually like buff it in, it gives you the most beautiful lit from within shine. It's a really nice highlight. I wanted the shade Prosecco as well, but when I went to Ulta, it was out of stock, so I may pick that up on a later date, just depending on how this like wears throughout the day on my face. I have no complaints so far. I think it's looking really nice and natural. I will say though, where I did bake, I am kind of seeing a little bit more of that powder on the skin. I don't know if that's a mixed match with the foundation and the powder, but I can kind of see like a little texture on my chin here. I can see a little bit of texture here on my forehead, and everywhere else it's like very obvious that I have powdered. You can see that, you know, but it's not looking bad in person for my opinion. If you're like at a normal distance from my skin and not like right up in there, then it looks really good. If anything, I'm curious to see how this starts to like break down throughout the day, especially with the texture I'm seeing with the powder. I did use my Laura Mercier translucent setting powder. This I have been re-loving this past like 2 months or so. It's incredible, and this works with pretty much every foundation I've used so far. It's almost 2 p.m. I have been at it for like 2 hours. I don't know why it's taking me so long to do my full face of makeup. I'm gonna try to prolong this as much as possible throughout the day. I just have some editing to do. I am gonna be filming more videos today, so I'm gonna be like batch filming. So it's a full day in the house working, so I will be checking in with you guys throughout the day, and I will see you guys in a couple of hours. Hi guys, I am back for my 3-hour check-in. It is around 5 o'clock now, and I just wanted to show you guys what the face is looking like. I did just finish filming, so I have been sitting here for a little while now. It is hot under my lights. If you can see, I'm a little sweaty, but I'm also a little bit more oily. So from far away, you can definitely see the face is slightly getting shinier within the center of the face mostly, I feel like is where I'm seeing it. Like the rest of the face, I feel like kind of started off this luminous, but we're seeing more oil production on the center of the face, which is usually where my oils start to occur first. As far as the way it's sitting on the face, I still feel like everything looks super flawless, but my chin, I feel like, I don't know if it's because it started off a little streakier, or maybe I put too much powder, or what is happening, but I feel like my chin is looking a little bit streaky, a little bit more textured. I'll try to show you guys that in the footage, but everything else I think is sitting really nicely. My blush is not moving, my bronzer, my contour and stuff is staying put. I don't feel like anything is slipping and sliding just yet. I'm trying to think ahead to like summertime. It's very hot outside right now. It's like 90 degrees and the sun is beating down. I went outside to check the mail and already I was like, ooh, it is hot. Just thinking about that and the way that this is sitting on the face, I don't know if this is going to last in the summertime for me. I'm like a little bit concerned. If I do wear it in the summer, I'm going to have to really powder it. Like I can tell that already is going to be the case. Oh my gosh, you know what? Ugh, I didn't set the face. I meant to set my face with setting spray, and I was gonna grab my One Size setting spray because it's not in my filming room right now, and I never did it. I did not set the face. That is such a boo-boo on my end. I'm gonna set the face as is after this, just to make sure, because I always set my face with setting spray, you know, so I need to wear this as if it's just a regular day of makeup. Dang, I feel so terrible now. I think it looks good. Like it doesn't look like my face is melting off. Yeah, you know what I mean? It definitely looks shiny and luminous. If you are a dry person and you like something that's a little bit luminous, I think that you might really like this finish because it doesn't look greasy. It looks like a natural shine on the skin. We're gonna check in probably in another like 3 hours, so a total of 6 hours, and we will see where we're sitting then. All right, hey guys, I am back for my second check-in of the day. It's about 10:15 at night, so about 8 hours passed when we finished our full face of makeup, and I just want to show you guys what the skin is looking like. So from afar, it is looking very put together still, but we definitely have a lot of oils shining through. You can see I have produced a lot of oils mainly on my forehead, and again where we were seeing some oils like coming through on the center of the face, that is still coming through, but we also have a little bit more like on the temple area. Definitely quite oily now. Now thinking back at my last foundation review wear test video, which was Urban Decay's Face Bond, I feel like around this time when I was wearing that and doing my wear test, I was a little bit more oily, and I believe that a portion of that one I was wearing primer on like one side of the face, I'm pretty sure. I'm not wearing any type of primer, and I did end up setting my face with my One Size. I'm almost out of this though. I had to like really spray my face down to feel like I had like an even layer of this. I feel like the way that it's still sitting on my face with the oils coming through, the oils are not affecting the texture and the way that the foundation is actually sitting. I don't feel like it's separating at all. It doesn't seem like it's caking up in any areas. There are some foundations where as you get oily, it kind of like breaks up that foundation, but I'm not seeing that happening here. And as you can see, our blush is still pretty much intact. I really need to cough and I really need to blow my nose, but I am trying to stop myself from doing that so that it doesn't mess up any of the foundation. I guess that's a good test though, because it's supposed to be transfer proof, but I'm telling you guys right now, whenever you are an oily person producing a lot of oils, you know, once those oils are coming through, that foundation or whatever it may be is going to transfer. That's just kind of the nature of it. You know what I mean? Like just think you have oil cleansers and cleansing balms and stuff that get oily and emollient, and it just breaks up your makeup. So it's kind of like the same. Is it the same? Am I making this up? But I'm pretty sure it's like the same concept. I like have this urge to touch where I'm oily and see if like it transfers off my fingers. So I'm just going to take, actually no, let's not do that. Let's take a paper towel. I'm just going to blot it very lightly though. Just blot it to see how much of this comes off. Very little. I don't think you guys will even see that, but there's Very, very little transfer there, but it did remove a lot of the oil production that I was having right there. It kind of looks like the foundation is still there. Maybe it just picked up the oils. Yeah, you can see a little bit more, so it's definitely transferring. I couldn't tell you if there's no transfer when you first apply this. Can you see that? I feel like my lights are going to kind of stop you guys from really seeing the oils on the paper towel, but I will try to like color the footage to where you can see it, like dim it down a little bit. After wearing this for 8 hours and having like a good amount of oils coming through, this is not easily transferring, which is nice. I mean, I'm not smearing it, you know. I'm pretty positive that if I smear it or if I take my finger and I like smear my face, it's going to transfer. But I just wanted to see what that would look like. I'm debating on if I want to stay up and continue to edit and maybe wear this for another 2 hours just to make it a solid like 10-hour wear test, you know what I mean? But I don't know, I'm on the fence. So because I'm on the fence and I still want to see how this powders down, I'm gonna go ahead and powder my face. I am gonna be using the Fenty Invisimatte. This is kind of my go-to blotting powder because it is truly a translucent powder and it's something that does not add a heavy layer of powder on the face. I'm going to take this double-ended hourglass brush and I'm just going to load up my brush. Just load that thing up, tap it off, and we are going to tap this all over the face anywhere, well, pretty much everywhere, because I was going to say anywhere I'm feeling oily, but that's pretty much the entire face. So we're just going to go ahead, tap this all over, and then see how this refreshes. Okay, I just did this side of my face and my entire forehead, and look at the difference here. We are seeing a lot of mattifying going on. Where I did put that highlight initially, I feel like we still are seeing the actual highlight versus my oils. So that is really nice. I feel like that I am okay with, and the rest of the face has mattified down really nicely. I still feel like even though we took this powder, we are still looking a little bit luminous. Like the skin is still looking nice and fresh. So I really enjoy when foundations do have more of that luminous dewy finish, because when we do set it down, you still have that faux dew, you know, like that faux glowiness going on. I think this refreshed so well. All right, and I'm just gonna do the same exact thing on the other side of my face. All right, and here is the face refreshed. I think that worked so well. Obviously, at the 10-hour mark, it's not going to be an untouched face, but it's very dependent on if I decide to stay up and do that. Okay guys, I made it. I made it to midnight. It is officially midnight, so 10 hours of wear on this foundation. And as you can see, since 2 hours ago, I believe, we have produced a little bit more oils, but not a ton. Like you can definitely see right here, my oils are just going. And at the center of my forehead, I feel like since we powdered it 2 hours ago, I've produced more oils. So I think it's safe to say that if I had left it alone, I'd probably be significantly oily. But like I mentioned in our last check-in, I do honestly believe that if I were to wear this throughout the day, I would probably be powdering more often. This to me, I feel like looks like my skin perfected after skincare. I think that for the finish, it's really nice. Is this going to be a foundation for myself that I think is going to last me all day, no touch-ups? No, I don't think so. I would like to test the waterproof and transfer-proof claims of this. I don't necessarily understand how this foundation is supposed to control your oils as well as be luminous throughout the day. I feel like just by this wear test alone, we've kind of like debunked that. I would love to look more into like why they say that. I think that this wears beautifully though. I think that overall this is going to be a foundation that I like to reach for, specifically because I really like the thin serum-y type of texture that this has, as well as the shade match. I feel like the shade match is really nice. I think that if you typically struggle with shade matching yourself, Fenty always comes through with the shade match because they really understand undertones on skin. I don't think that this is anything revolutionary. It is just a really nice, luminous, soft foundation. I think that this is going to wear perfectly for you if you have normal to dry skin. And if you do have oily skin, I think it's really important for you to prep it, whether that be primer, powders, setting spray, or a combination of all of it. And I think it really just comes down to the way that you like your foundations to sit and the textures of foundations that you prefer. As a complexion product on its own though, in the Fenty line, again, I am not disappointed. I really like Fenty complexion products. Aside from like the Pro Matte Filter foundation, I love the Eaze Drop Skin Tint and the stick. I like this. I like the drops that they have. They just continue to give us a lot of options, and that's exactly what I think this is, right? So I think that this is just another option. They're not necessarily trying to come out with anything that is incredibly new and like mind-blowing in this. They just want to give you another option for a complexion product, and I think that they did really well. I also feel like this foundation, like I can tell whenever I try out a foundation how often I'm going to be reaching for it by how easy it is to use, how easy it is to blend. And this one I feel like would blend in well with my fingers, with a brush, and with a sponge. Like I feel like it has a lot of versatility to it. And it seems like the type of product that you can kind of layer on and add coverage wherever you feel like you need a little bit more. As far as Fenty Beauty complexion products are concerned, this compared to the Fenty complexion stick and the skin tint and the Pro Matte foundation. So I was never a huge fan of the Pro Matte foundation. I definitely think that it mattified your skin and lasted really long on the skin. So if what you're looking for is longevity, that one would probably be your best option. And if you like more mattifying foundations, that would be your better option. I believe that this foundation is supposed to be a replacement for their old like Luminous foundation, the one that was in like a tube, you know, like the It Cosmetics CC cream. It's supposed to be similar to that one or a replacement for that one. I actually like this more than that. I did have it and try it and wear it a little bit, but I did find that that one was a little bit too hydrating on my skin and it almost felt oily and greasy on my skin. I'm not getting that same effect from this one. So if you found that that old one was like that for you and you didn't like it and you still want a luminous finish, then I think that this would be the answer to that. The skin tint, you guys know I am a huge fan of the skin tint. I definitely feel like that one is a little bit more mattifying than this foundation, and I would say pigmentation wise, I think they're similar. I think they give you the same amount of coverage, but that one definitely seems slightly more mattifying, but nowhere near as mattifying as their soft matte foundation. And then with the skin stick, I think that this foundation gives you more coverage than the skin tint. But I almost feel like the skin tint looks a little bit more blurring because it's a little bit creamier. I would most likely choose the skin tint, like the Fenty Eaze Drop, over this one if I'm gonna be honest, because that one does give me a little bit more wear time because it does mattify my skin slightly. It dries down a little bit more matte, so it just lasts a lot longer. But again, there are a lot more shades of this foundation. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you found it helpful. Please let me know what you thought about this wear test, how you thought this sat and wore on me today. I'm very curious to see what your thoughts are. If you guys liked this video, if you enjoyed it and found it helpful, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this one. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.